I just bought this Mercedes wagon for a steal because it might have a big problem.
And if we can't fix it and sell it for a profit, my goal of trying to flip from $500 into my dream supercar will be in shambles. I already flipped this $500 Acura into $4,200, and now bought this Mercedes that originally cost $70,000 back in 2009 for a measly $2,600. But how did I get such a good deal?
First, it's got 200,000 miles, which is a lot.
It also has fogged headlights, the bumper's all misaligned for who knows what reason, and it's missing its Mercedes badge. But by far the biggest problem that's making the car so cheap is the suspension. You can see that the front's jacked up super high, and the rear is really low. And that's because these Mercedes were really ahead of their time and had air suspension.
So essentially, instead of regular springs and coils, like this with a spring on top, there's an airbag, and it compresses and lifts and allows for a much more comfortable ride on these luxury cars. We gotta remember, this was like a $70,000 car, brand new. So we need to solve that immediately, because that's our biggest problem that's hurting us value-wise. I've shown you all the reasons why it's so cheap, but here's why I think we could make a lot of money and get closer to our goal of a supercar. For one, it's an E-Class Mercedes. Like I said, this was an expensive car in 2009, and it's really nice even still. The inside's in decent shape, and most of the tech still works, including the rear trunk. Check this out. Not only does that open, but look, that thing opens electronically. That's crazy that that still works. Yeah. The back seats look like they've never been sat in ever. You can see they're perfect. And they even have these little shades so the rear passengers don't get blinded by the sun. Another really cool thing about these is there's actually rear-facing seats back here. So this car can seat quite a lot of people for a wagon. And really importantly, it has this Mercedes V6. This engine is known to be pretty much bulletproof, so even with 200,000 miles, this thing should be completely fine. With that all said, I've also checked on Auto Tempest Price Trends tool, which is the tool I've been using to see if I can make money from these flips. And these cars, even with the same mileage, can go for anywhere between $5,000 to $8,000. So we're definitely under that. That being said, this car has a lot of problems that we need to fix, and hopefully, even after spending the money to fix it, we can make a big profit. Now, the big problem is if I were to replace the air suspension with regular Mercedes air suspension, we'd make no money. That's why people sell these for cheap. It's too expensive, and the car's not worth enough to fix it. However, there is a different solution that I have in mind. But before we do that, we need to read the codes and make sure we're not missing any other problems, and get it on the lift and see how terrible it is underneath. These New England winters can ruin cars. We got this really fancy code reader. It's Bluetooth. Very nice. I'm hoping that there isn't any big problems that we've missed, because I did not do this when we were buying the car.
These code readers are super helpful for getting a quick overview of any problems the car might be having. I know a lot of the obvious things that need fixing, but I'm hoping this will give me just a bit more insight to ensure I can get to all the problems.
All right, so after looking at the codes, of which there's many and scares me, there are some problems. So for one, the suspension light is on. We knew that that was a problem. 2, headlights out, small problem. But after the suspension, there's a lot of smaller problems. One is that the rear wiper system is just not working. The sunroof is not really working. The rear door locking system is on and off working. Now, some of that stuff could be because the guy who was selling it said he changed the battery, and sometimes when you change the battery over, you get low voltage problems and things can break, especially on a car that's this complicated. I'm gonna clear the codes and see what comes back after driving it around for a second. Sometimes that fixes a couple of these problems, but I'm assuming that there's some work for us to do. The other stuff, with a little hard work, we can fix. The suspension is gonna be a little more difficult, but I have something that's gonna help us. Now that I know the codes, I'm gonna throw it up on the lift and see how rusty it is underneath, and hope it's not that bad, because otherwise it's probably not worth very much, and I made a bad purchase. You gotta take risks though, if you wanna make money. So the car's up on the lift, and I have good and bad news. I'll give you the good news first, because I'm an optimist. The good news is that the underside of the car is actually rather good. I mean, it's rusty, and some of the exhaust mounts have totally snapped off. Even by the engine bay, there is obviously some surface rust. That's pretty normal for a car with this many miles out here. Better than I thought. And the oil pan is like brand new, and there's no drops of oil there. But I do have some bad news. Remember I said the air suspension is a common failure point, and that's the big issue with this car? It's not that. I can tell that that's not the problem because there's literally no airbag. That right there is a regular old spring. Even in the rear, it's a spring. So something is seriously wrong, and I can see why the owner wanted to get rid of it so badly. But we will fix it. I'm gonna figure this out. If the air suspension was broken, that light would be on, but it would definitely be on if there was not air suspension there and the computer thought there should be. That can be coded out. Now, the thing that I worry about is that it still looks like the air suspension is broken. When the air suspension on these cars breaks, all the wheels are at different heights like I was showing you. And that's the case with this car, but there's no air suspension at all. So I gotta figure out why that is and hope that something more serious isn't broken. Facebook Marketplace, man. I got the wheel off and I have a theory about what happened. I feel like at some point somebody tried to convert this and get the air suspension out, but they were lazy and they just threw some other suspension in. And if that's the case, all we need to do is replace the spring, and that's not very expensive. We should be good. But I gotta get it out first, and it's kinda old and crusty. Alright, that's enough. Oh, yeah. I just realized I don't need to take that out. Whoopsie. I'm gonna try jacking it up and then getting it out. Oh my gosh. I got it. I don't know how that's coming out. Not as easy as I wanted it to be. It's stuck. It turns out I do need to take that upper control arm out. I was right. There we go. Just hit it until it breaks. Oh man. Come on. Tell me I didn't pull the axle out. I pulled the axle out. That's bad. So I've been doing some research. This is the strut that just came out of the car. It has a part number on it, and it has a part number on the spring. Like I said, the strut is technically the correct strut for this car. However, the spring is aftermarket. I can't tell if it's right or not. It's really hard to get a good answer on it. But that being said, I think that this is our culprit. I think. So what I did is, got a replacement strut kit. This is a really cheap front strut kit that I got for $169. However, I have no idea if it's gonna work. And that's because sometimes cheap parts are bad. And that could be one of these instances. I have noticed it is pretty much the exact same length, if not taller, than the one I took out. And the problem was it was riding too high, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Once it goes in, the spring will compress once the weight's on the car, and if it's a softer spring than the one that's in the old strut, it should be fine and it should ride properly. I'm gonna try getting this one back in and see where that sits at, and hope it works okay. But I got no idea. Now we obviously want to make as much money as possible when we go to sell the wagon, which is why we're using the Auto Tempest price trends tool that I mentioned to you earlier. You can look up any car, not just make and model, but even down to the specific trims, transmissions, or body styles, and see how prices have moved over time. It literally shows you the real data from past listings. So you can tell whether the prices are going up, staying the same, or dropping. Once you know it's the right time to buy, Auto Tempest does what it's always done best. It shows you every top listing site at once. Cars.com, Car Gurus, eBay, and plenty more all in one place. It saves you a ton of time and shows you the full picture of what's out there. Whether you're flipping cars or just hunting for your dream car, Auto Tempest now helps you understand the market before you spend a dime. Check out the new price trends tool at autotempest.com and start making smarter car moves. Now let's get back to the wagon. I got the axle back in, and there's only one thing for me to logically do, and that's try to put this new suspension in and hope it solves our problem. I am uncertain, to say the least, if it will. This is a dumb design.
Getting this in, turns out, isn't super easy. It's technically only 4 bolts, but fitting it in its proper place is proving a lot more difficult than I was expecting, and I'm getting a little bit worried I maybe made a mistake.
ChatGPT, help me. Help. Please. I can't get this strut in, no matter how hard I try. It's hitting the bottom and it's hitting the top.
It sounds like the new strut might be slightly too large, or there's something in the way. You might need to...
Pretty much the exact same length, if not taller, than the one I took out. Both of these are on the ground right now, and you can tell one is a little taller than the other. But that doesn't mean it's wrong.
If it's still not fitting, there might be an issue with the part itself. Are there any other details?
That's not very helpful. There's obviously a problem. I can't get it up. Oh. I hurt my other finger. Oh, but it's mostly in. I got the strut past this upper control arm. I had to get a bungee cord and get it as tight as I could up top and get it up and under. So out of breath, and I am bleeding profusely from my finger. I think that's on. Ha ha! But now I have to do the other side.
It turns out that even getting the other side in is a total nightmare because several lug nuts are completely stuck on, which is proving to be really difficult. But with them off, we can finally take out the old strut on that side and replace it with the new and hopefully correct suspension.
After much trial and error, both front struts are in. Now we need to see if the front struts actually allow the car to be at the proper ride height. They were cheap, so I don't really know. All right, bring her down.
I want to like back it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to jump on it a few times too.
It definitely looks better. All right.
1 sec, let me hit a bump with it. I remember how it felt, and it was bad. Making a strange sound
How so?
from that front corner, the passenger side.
Oh, I do hear that. That sounds axle-y.
It's like your boss's two-man job.
What is going on here right now?
With the ride height seemingly fixed and that new clicking sound solved, turned out it was just a bent heat shield, I'm gonna quickly swap out the tires. The ones that came on here are pretty much toast, so I bought new ones for around $300, got them mounted for $100, and now we can move on to some more problems the car has.
We still have a lot to do in order to extract the most value from this thing and flip it for the most amount of money, and that is something that Will's working on right now.
And unlike the last headlights we did, where Jackson used like a kit, I'm gonna try to do it with just some like regular old stuff you could buy at Home Depot.
Yeah, save extra money, and
stuff that we have in the shop.
allegedly it'll do a really good job if he does it right.
All right, so the first step of doing this is gonna be just to clean them off, and I have rubbing alcohol. And this is like already giving you an idea that there is some life left in these headlights. We just gotta find it. And we're gonna find it by basically just taking back all the gunk and garbage that's on these headlights.
You're in pain. I can tell by what you're saying, but... Clock strikes 12. Midnight arrives.
Right now I'm starting with this 600 grit sandpaper we had lying around. Take down this yellowing, this oxidization. Get rid of all the grossness. And you want to get an even layer of haze. And now I have taken most of the grossness off the headlights with the very aggressive sandpaper. Now moving on to this sandpaper. The headlights are a lot smoother now. Now this is going to start to actually bring the shine back. But not really, because it's still sandpaper. Sausage and cheese. Now the final step should be just polishing them. But we're gonna see. Polisher, this might be the only thing that you couldn't get super easily at home, but we have one because we work on cars. And I'm gonna go nice and easy and slow with some pressure and polish this headlight out, and hopefully it looks great. That's actually coming out pretty decent. And now the final step, I'm just gonna spray on some sort of ceramic protectant. And now look at this. Those look, whoa, look at how bad these look. They look a million times better. Now with this side done, I can do this side quickly, and we'll have a much more expensive looking and feeling vehicle for the cost of just my time, really, because we already had all the stuff. If you're trying to sell a car and the headlights look a little cloudy, do this. It's definitely worth it. It makes the car feel way nicer and way newer, and I mean, just look at that. These are some actually like decent looking headlights underneath. They got some nice projectors in them, and you know, if you try to sell the car looking like this, looks like junk. Yeah. Get
the
that
lug
off.
nuts are stuck. Again. I was trying to get them off because I'll show you in a second, but they're in trouble.
Jackson's gonna swap the tires because we got new tires. But in fact, all he's doing is scratching the paint, right? Things are welded together, bro.
What do I do?
There you go.
Easy. Race spec torque levels.
He did the center lock specs.
yeah, sorry. I
GT3 RS.
didn't know we had a GT3 RS on our hands.
But yeah, so this is broken. Anyhow, that's broken. And when it gets pushed into the right spot, the headlights, it's all right. But to do that, it has to be unbroken. I have an idea of how to fix this, and it's very strange. Get a look at this right now. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna show you how my idea is working.
Now this thing is missing something very important. I don't know if it'll help us with resale much, but it'll help my OCD. And that is the missing hood emblem. People just rip them off, but I got a new one for $16. It's definitely not factory Mercedes.
If I turn it, I think it's a twist change.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Well, you're completely wrong, so it's okay.
And that just twists and then pops out.
Pop one.
In this case, get it twisted actually.
Get it broken.
The car's looking a lot better, but it needs a big clean before we take photos. That way the photos look as good as possible. We can get the most money possible in the flipping series. So we gotta clean this thing now. My pressure washer is still very broken, so whenever I spray, it also sprays me, which is a little inconvenient, but I gotta trooper through this one, so let's do it. Car looks pretty good on the outside now, but I'm gonna do a quick vacuum on the inside. It looks okay in there. Honestly, it's actually pretty nice, but I just think quick little vacuum, get all the crumbs out, wipe down everything, and then we'll be good to take some pictures of it. I think it's gonna look pretty good, all things considered. Not only is the outside sparkling now, but the inside's looking really nice too. I need to find a fix for this. I have one coming. There is some tears in the seat, and I think I have a cheap solution to fixing that. But other than that, this interior is actually pretty mint. Really not bad at all. Now the suspension's good. The car is running pretty nice, and I think we're almost ready to take photos. I do want to fix the ribs in the seats before we do that. I should have what I need later today. I ordered it off Amazon for $5, and hopefully it'll look good, but I'll show you that shortly. Honestly, not bad. I'm feeling good about this one. Will?
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah, this thing cleans
so
up
much better
good.
than when we got it.
Yeah.
With like such easy little things, the washing it, the headlights. I don't get how people like sell cars without doing stuff like that.
Dude,
You know
it's
what
so
I mean?
easy.
It's so
That took you 20 minutes.
But everything looks really good now. Even the suspension wasn't that hard. Like, I mean, you did most of it, but like, someone could have done that themselves.
Yeah, on jack stands, no
Yeah,
problem. If you have a
definitely.
little bit of mechanical know-how. Now, obviously, a couple things I still need to do. I need to get that badge bolted down. I need to fix the seat. This is something that I can't repair. So that's just, we're gonna live with that for the time being.
Oh, hitch marking.
Yeah.
Classic. Someone
Little-
definitely backed into it or he fronted into something.
Honestly, this car is sick for the money.
I kind of want it.
Yeah, me
I think
too.
this is a problem we're going to face a lot in our flipping series because I think we're going to buy cars that we like. But like, dude, I don't need this at all in any meaningful way, but it's just cool. It's just kind of a cool
drives
daily.
so nice, and it even has the rear-facing seats. I don't know if we showed you those, but look at that.
Goo goo gaga.
I am going to tire shine those up in the meantime because tire shine adds value. The finishing touch to the interior is, of course, a Luf Sense. This is our air freshener company. I thought maybe it would help if the car smelled nice, so I'm going to throw one of these in there. This is our vanilla sandalwood, which is my favorite. And if you haven't tried one of these air fresheners yet, they're actually the best. We made them because we hate every other air freshener out there. It's a wooden block infused with essential oils, not too smelly, but just smelly enough to do the job. And it magnetizes to this little metal clip that goes on your sun visor. And there you go. Now your car smells better. If you want one, I guarantee you'll love it. All right, our badge is still not properly sticking, so I'm gonna just put some double-sided tape underneath there, and I'm sure that'll be fine. Dude, we have a Mercedes now. That's kind of the crown jewel. Now it's back to its former glory. Dude, it actually looks really good. Dang, I'm looking at the camera screen and it looks even better on there. You can see the driver's seat's got some rips in it, just a few. So I got this really cheap tape off Amazon that's leather tape. I don't yet know if it really even matches the seat. It'll look all right.
How bad is it?
Match-wise?
Yeah.
Not bad. Okay, honestly, it's not great, but it does look a lot better. And I think we're ready to photograph this thing now.
Okay, in my opinion, this is the most important part about selling cars online, and that's taking good pictures of it. So today, I'm gonna show you how to do that very easily. So I'm gonna take all the pictures of the car now, and then we can go back to the shop and write up the list. Shouldn't be a pro tip, but I think it is. If the lighting is in one direction, flip the car around to shoot the other side. It's not very hard and it makes it look so much better. I'm just gonna flip the car around quickly. And now the back of the car is lit quite nicely and looks way better. And always make sure to get good quality pictures of the interior. It's just as important as the exterior, but so many people forget that. You'd be surprised at how many listings you find with 0 pictures of the interior. Who knows why people do that? Look, at the end of the day, we're not shooting for an online auction. You don't need to take 100 pictures, but having 10 to 20 nice quality, well-positioned pictures of the car makes it way easier for people to know what they're getting into. I always like to take a few pictures of the imperfections, just because being honest is always great. And why would you want to have someone come to look at a car and then not see what they were expecting? Because then they just won't bother. Take pictures of the flaws, take a ton of pictures, make them as best quality as you can, get the lighting right, and honestly, I believe your car will be worth way more. So let's go right up the ad. I'm just selling a car.
With all the pictures shot and edited, we can quickly write up a nice description, making sure we properly describe all the pros and cons of the car, making our listing more trustworthy, and hopefully more appealing to buyers. We can set it live and hope that we get some bites.
One eternity later.
We have a slight problem. The Acura sold really, really fast, which got me feeling like I was invincible. But the wagon is not selling so fast. I listed it like 2.5 weeks ago, for $5,900, and I've already had to drop the price. I have a few people biting, but I want to get as much money as possible, obviously, so I'm gonna wait. You won't see it in this video, but I wanted to get it out for you, but you'll find out in the next video when we sell that car and buy the next one. So subscribe, and if you like this video, check out one of these ones. It's gonna pop up magically. It's crazy. It's like magic.